Okay, this is part 4 of the false breakout trading strategy video series. This one we're going to look at purely swing false breakouts and the considerations you need to take into account when evaluating a setup, and look at plenty of examples, just like we did for part 3, which was the support and resistance one. Okay, so the considerations for a swing FB. Is price returning to a clear swing high low? It needs to be clear, otherwise you're not going to get a stop loss build up and the breakout trader order flow build up. Okay, was there a strong supply demand imbalance at the initial swing high low? Okay, so did price leave it with good momentum? So is it a clear swing low? That's what defines as a clear swing high or swing low. Does it look good like a good double bottom double top formation? Okay, a U, inverted U. That's generally the ones which will be obvious to a lot of people in terms of looking at those swings and looking for the order flow build up. Okay, and just like we did for SRs, we're looking for a clear buyer seller trap, so either a material false break or price hitting clear supply and demand, which is going to be less likely because you're more likely to be going into new high, new lows with a swing FB than you are with an SR FB. So you're going to have less occasions where that's going to happen. So instead we need to be looking for a material false break. Is the market trending or moving sideways? Okay, we generally don't want to be taking trades against strong immediate trends or strong impulsive moves. Okay, going strongly counter trend, that's what we want to avoid. It's not saying it's not tradable, but you're not going to get the high probability setups, the higher expectancy setups, and the easier to analyze setups when you're going strongly counter trend. Okay. Can we conclude that the setup is not just supply demand consumption? And again, just like for the SR and FB, do we have the pause, consolidation, and swing test? Okay. So firstly, to look at some impulsive moves. Okay. Clear swing low, price left it with great momentum, stands out as a swing low. We come close before, but the order flow here hasn't been hit clearly. Now we're always going to be coming down with strength with a trend move, because it's not like an inverted U because of this move within here, but it still is a clear overall inverted U shape, and we're always going to be coming back down in a trend like fashion, because price is coming back from a distance, not like an SR where it can be moving sideways. But the nature of the setting is important here, combined with a weak false break. Okay, I said before, we want to avoid scenarios where we have strong immediate selling combined with a weak false break and no other information, because that stands a good chance. It becomes more 50-50 what's going to happen next. Is this demand consumption paving the way for just a move lower in line with this strong setting, or is this an FB? It's very difficult to reach an objective conclusion that it's more likely to be an FB when we don't have any other information to hand. Okay, and as you can see in this case, it was a small FB, strong setting, large uncertainty over whether this is demand consumption, and it goes and makes a new lower low. So the false breakout, this isn't a false breakout, this is a false breakout. Price doesn't make a new lower low. It's important to remember that. Price making a new lower low is not, basically you haven't traded the false breakout. Then if it makes a new lower low and still is a false breakout, then that's a false breakout. Okay, that's a new false breakout. Then we have the breakout. Okay, before price gets reversed. Okay. Doesn't mean the whole scenario or the whole area won't result in an overall a false breakout, but that's not what we're trading here. We're trading the specific false breakout using logical objective stop loss placement to maximize our R and looking for quick momentum moves back up. Okay, and with a setup like this, you can't conclude that this is a good false breakout. So that for me is a no trade. Okay, for someone else it might be, I'm going to risk a quarter or half of what I normally risk, because it depends on your risk tolerance, but for me this is more 50-50, and it's important to understand why. Same again, strong trend like move, very small false break. And you could say it worked out in terms of it came back to this area here, but I'm not going to be taking a setup that offers just that compared to this strong move. I mean, I'd rather be looking for the breakout to go higher, I'd rather be looking to get in long on the retest of this former supply turn demand, expecting the breakout higher, considering the strong buying behind it. There's not much value in trying to sweat over looking for a handful of pips down to here relative to the overall move and what's likely to happen if price breaks out. We have a small false break, which is broken by a new higher high, so it's that's been invalidated anyway. And this one, if you're trading this one, it offers no value because you're straight into supply, and demand. Okay, so those are exaggerated examples, but they're examples where I wouldn't be taking the trade because there's too much uncertainty with regards to supply or demand consumption, and becomes more of a 50-50 trade, which is not obviously what we look to trade. Now I said we want to look for strong rejection signs or material false breakouts. Okay, this is one where we don't have, this is not too strong a trend. Price is always going to be moving back in a trend-like fashion because of the nature of swing false breakouts. But we can see here the false breakout doesn't stand out as good rejection. Okay, I don't look at that and think, yeah, that's definitely quite a load of people offside. It just looks like a normal bar in the normal course of things. If you look at the overall picture, look at the types of wicks you get and the types of bars we get. It doesn't stand out to me as rejection. Okay, with swing FBs you have to be slightly pickier. You have to be looking for the ones that stand out. Either that or you have more information to tell you that it's more likely to be an FB, because this one again, there's no strong trend, but that just doesn't stand out to me as likely to be a false breakout having caught a load of traders offside. Okay. Same again, this time we have another strong selling into the area, clear swing low. Price spends a decent amount of time and distance apart. That's what I mean by the inverted U. Okay, you're not always going to look like a inverted U or a U shape, but it's more looking for the double top, double bottom type formation in terms of price spending a decent time, this axis, away from this area, and decent space in terms of this axis away. So that's what I mean by the U or the inverted U or the double top, double bottom scenario, and price having left this area with good momentum, which it has. But it's just a weak false breakout. That doesn't stand out as rejection. I'd rather short there than go long, because this 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 strong bearish bars. I'm not saying I'm never going to go against strong selling, but not in this scenario where you've got a tiny false breakout like that. This stands a higher chance of being demand consumption paving the way for a move lower than it does a false breakout. So if I had to take a trade here, I'd actually rather take a short. I'm looking for setups which are clear, and you get many of them. They stand out, the ones that are going to be easy false breakouts leading to good momentum reversals. Okay, and there are plenty of them within the Forex market and other asset classes. Now, just like with SRFBs, we can use demand, pricing demand, supply and demand to assist us in our analysis. As I said, this doesn't occur as often because of the nature of swings, but here we have a swing low, clear swing low, price left with great momentum, nicely little inverted U, strong selling down. Okay, so without this demand and without this strong rejection, strong false break, this would be a concern. But we have a strong false break of this low, so this stands out because we had strong selling. So for price to reverse it this much, that tells me strong buying came in here for this type of reversal between the move down and the amount of the bar that's being reversed. If you compare it to this false break, to that one, it's nearly half the bar. It's just under half the bar that's being reversed from these lows. So that says to me strong buying. Now, the fact that it's hit supply, demand, more importantly demand here, again, okay, it's not the first time back to it, but it's still come from demand. That combined with material false breakout makes this tradable. The probabilities are stacked in my favour. Yeah, it's not A+, it's not the most obvious setup you're going to see, but it's still a tradable setup that's going to give me a positive expectancy if I trade it over and over again. So it's a setup I'm going to take. some examples of strong rejection. Okay, now the first thing, look at this. Well, this is a small false breakout. Isn't this going against what I said previously? But then this is about looking at the overall picture though as well. Look what price has also broken back below. Supply confirmed with the test here. The lunge up, we have a false breakout of this side, but we've also got a false breakout of this area here. It's not like a clear swing high or anything, it's more like a zone or an SR zone or an SD zone, but there's still going to be orders placed above here, there's still going to be stops placed above here because this is the last swing high area. So there's still going to be traders going long here, and the fact it's a double FB in that way, okay, this one by itself wouldn't be one I'd be particularly keen on, but the fact that it's FB'd above this area and this area, which is the more major swing high, and look what's happened to price in terms of how it's closed. It's a very strong rejection overall. Yeah, it's not a material false break above this one, but above the whole area, and looking at the bar as a whole in terms of it's been rejected from here, and look where it's closed. We basically confirm this area of supply, a little supply consumption going on in there, then we've had the lunge up, and then we've closed lower. So the selling strength that's come in here to cause this price, to reverse price from up here down to there within this time frame, has to have been extremely strong. We've had strong buying, so this strong buying's been reversed as well with a standout rejection bar. The overall the false break of the overall double area is strong, and the bar itself stands out relative to the preceding bars. This stands out as rejection. Okay, price retests this areas as supply because this is supply, turn demand on the way down, and turn supply again before moving lower. So that's what I mean about looking at the overall picture. You could look at that and dismiss it. Oh no, it's a small FB, but you've got to look at the overall picture, the overall bar, the overall strength of rejection. Okay. Again, strong trending move down here, then down here, but then price consolidates, or it doesn't consolidate, but it slows down, it loses momentum. We have a little wedge channel, compression channel going down here. Clear inverted U shape overall in terms of the way price leaves the area and comes back. Material FB, this one's an FB, this one's too small. Okay, it's easy to say because it didn't work out, but it is. It's small. It doesn't screen rejection. It's not like the other bar. It doesn't look anything like this bar in terms of its size, how much it stands out relative to the overall move and the overall picture itself. This is a weak looking bar with a small false breakout. Okay, this one's not. This one stands out. Okay. Material false break below that swing low. Now, just like I described with SRs in terms of basing before, or the pause, then the lunge, the pause, breakout, price consuming, supply turn demand, then move lower. That's a good sign for swing FBs, and it's more useful swing FBs than it is SR FBs, because SRs we should be able to conclude that it is an SR. It has got order flow at it because the number of touches it's had before, and the fact that it is a clear SR. The very nature of the fact it's an SR means it has had multiple touches, and therefore it's a clear decision point, clear supply demand zone. A swing FB, there is more uncertainty of this because obviously it's only been tested once in the past. Okay, so if you have a test like this, it confirms there was supply there, therefore price has to overcome this supply to cause a false breakout, and then overcome it again as demand on the way down, which confirms to us the likely selling strength behind this false breakout. And if price is basing before that, or i.e. consolidating before it has the lunge, even better, especially more so if it's going against strong recent buying in this case. So strong buying, sideways consolidation, the pause, the test, material FB, rejection, we have another, but it doesn't cause a new higher high, so the FB is still valid, and move down. Another one here, this one's probably a better example, strong selling into it, but we pause. Okay, we don't cause an FB there, we pause. It confirms this as demand, support in a way. It's not true support, you don't touch a two-touch level as an obvious support level, but we confirmed it as a decision point, i.e. demand. We have a rejection, i.e. the sideways moving, the pausing, the consolidation, and then the clear lunge lower. And then we eventually move up to this supply. There's not much space in this setup, but it's more to highlight the strong move down, consolidation, touch this former swing low as support, as a decision point, as demand, then the material false break, the lunge down, and that's a good sign. That helps us to conclude that this isn't demand consumption. This bar isn't demand consumption. It helps us to conclude that with high probability that it does if price just came straight down and had a small FB down here. Okay, and that is it. So I've been over all the considerations needed to analyze a swing false breakout and an SR false breakout. The next video, and I've included as many examples as I can of different types of scenarios in terms of what not to look for and what to look for. The next video I'm going to talk purely about trade management, which will be the last video, so talking about entries, placement of stops, different options, and where to exit, either based on an FLR, FLS, or based on price action itself.